Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. So today I'm doing a video concerning Ramadan, basically some essentials, rules and actions that invalidate your fast, and also what is allowed. So yeah, let's get to it. Okay, so the essentials, I mean, this one basically everyone knows. I mean, I think almost all the Muslims know these ones, because there are like a few here. So you break your fast with an odd number of dates. That is basically 3, 5, the odd numbers. If the dates are not available, you can take a glass of water. Yeah. And then also you can increase your study and recitation of the Quran. This is very, very important during the fasting period. This is quite essential. And then also you use muswak to clean your teeth. Yeah, muswak is like a stick which people use to clean their teeth. Yeah. So, and also you must have suhoor. And people usually like their sleep so much, so people just sleep and miss suhoor, which is the food that we take early in the morning at around 4 a.m. Yeah, that will help us go through the fast. So yeah, and then also you must take iftar, which is the food that you take now when we break our fast in the evening. That is a must. So those are the essentials basically, and then there are rules. These are now, I mean, rules and regulations. Yeah. So the first one is, if you're sane and healthy, you must fast. Like, you must fast if you're sane and healthy, but you must have passed the puberty stage. Obviously babies can't fast, infants. And then also, if you're traveling or you're sick, you should not fast. Yeah, you should not fast, but you can at a later date replace the days that you did not fast while you were sick, or maybe while you were traveling. So yeah. And then also, when you're menstruating or you're suffering the post childbirth bleeding, you should not fast also. But then, like the people who are traveling and the sick ones, also you can replace them at a later date. Yeah. And then if you're old or you're like critically sick, you're critically ill, which means you don't fast, but you can perform fidya, which is you feed a person each day that you did not fast, like each day that you missed your fast. That is what fidya is for the old and the sick. That's what they perform, fidya. And then for pregnant women who feel they can't fast, I mean, if you feel like you're fasting, so you're pregnant and you won't get the essential nutrients that you require for your fetus to develop well, so you feel like you shouldn't fast. So that one also means that you fast on later dates, like for the days that you didn't fast while you were pregnant, you'll fast in the later dates after your pregnancy and whatever. Yeah. And there are also actions that invalidate one's fast. These actions are like about how many? I have 4. These are actions that will invalidate your fast basically. So if you intentionally eat, like, what is that? That is rude. Intentionally eat, like, you're fasting and just pick some food and just eat like that, that is quite rude. And yeah, that invalidates your fast basically. If you eat and it's intentional, basically your fast is invalid. And then there is the intentionally vomiting. Like, how people intentionally vomit. You just like, okay, you might feel like vomiting, but if you force it, you just put your finger and you know how people force themselves to vomit. That's obviously intentional, so that invalidates your fast. Yeah. And then intentionally indulging in sex. That means, you're not supposed to be fasting and you're indulging in sex. That invalidates your fast, obviously. So that means you perform kafara, which is fasting for continuous 60 days. I mean, for continuous 60 days. But you also have an option of feeding 60 people as well. Yeah. And then also your fast will be invalidated if you fast while menstruating. I mean, it's not allowed to fast while menstruating, or you're suffering from the post childbirth bleeding, that basically invalidates your fast. So it's just, if you're menstruating, don't fast, you know. And then also, if you're suffering from the post childbirth bleeding, don't fast. Simply that, don't fast. And then what is allowed during fasting? What is allowed during fasting? You can rinse off the mouth or the nose, as long as you don't swallow the water that you use to rinse your mouth. Don't swallow it. So that's allowed, to rinse your mouth and the nose. And you're also allowed to take a shower, because sometimes you feel like you're really heated up, you feel like you're dehydrated totally. So I feel like when you shower, it makes you feel better. So yeah, taking a shower is allowed. And then there are these people who are undergoing who are sick, so they have to take injections, you know. They might severely suffer if they don't take injections. So while you're fasting, it is allowed for you to take those injections. Yeah, the injections are actually allowed. And then swallowing saliva does not make your fasting invalid. So that means you're allowed to swallow saliva, still your fast is valid when you swallow saliva. And then using the eye drops also, you know, some people, their eyes irritate sometimes, so using the eye drops is allowed, it's not disallowed. And also for the girls who like using, for the women, yeah, ladies who like using the eyeliner, it's also allowed. There's no problem with the eyeliner. And also it is allowed to taste food without swallowing. I mean, my mom does that all the time when she's cooking during Ramadan. Yeah, you can just taste, but then you don't swallow it. That means you spit out whatever you tasted. So yeah. And then one must not be in the state of janaba, which means ritual impurity due to sexual intercourse. I mean, after sexual intercourse, you're considered to be impure.